Hello, this is Mary Grace. When last I left you, it was on the eve of the Woodlawn Needlepoint Show. But now it's May, so the Woodlawn Show is over. Put it on your calendars for next year. It's a really good time. So you finally get to see the finished Scary Stitches Victorian sampler. Called for were silks. These are not silks. These are DMC of my own choosing. This is me, because it's got the green shiny top. And then I really leaned into this brown, green, yellow floss that changes color all on its own because I thought it was spooky and autumn. And I did follow most of the pattern, except at the end I got kind of lazy. And there was also some errors. Oh well, my friend CJ, this is her, orange top. She did a very orange version of this Victorian sampler. Very orange. And she did some pieces that I didn't do because of my errors. There were certain things that would make my errors even more obvious if I did them, so I skipped them. She didn't, so hers looks more filled in, whereas mine looks more airy. And together, our two stitches reminded me of a jack-o'-lantern, hers being the bright orange part of a jack-o'-lantern and mine being the dark part. We were both in the Halloween room of the Woodlawn Show. We had a good time going to the show. Like I said, if you didn't go to the show this year, make sure you go next year. And if you want to see Scary Stitches in person, of course you come to the Montgomery County Fair, because I'm finally going to get to put this in there. It's one of 8 things I've completed for the fair, so I'm really excited about it. No, I have not worked on the Sew Drops Fairy. No, I have not worked on the Blue Jay. No, I have not worked on the Owl Needlepoint. But remember, I wanted to be like all the cool kids and have more things to talk about. So, from my 101 cross-stitch pattern, I was working on the owls. And I said I'd do an owl a month. I did start my second owl. You're just going to have to believe me. I started it. But then life. So, not so much an owl every month. But I did start the second owl. And I did the Elijah outline on the first one, which I don't think I had done. Speaking of owls, my travel kit, the Saw Wheat Owl from Hook, Line, and Tinker, got some attention. Look at all the ribbon I added. Look at the beads I added to make it shine. Remember, the only thing I'm using from the kit it came with is this yellow thread because, well, I didn't want a blue owl. So I don't have a blue owl. I have this, again, leaning hard into the variegated brown red floss. Variegateds are my thing now. And then I add the ribbon. I think I'm going to have to add another layer of ribbon because it didn't turn out to be as thick. I need to work better on my use of ribbon. It didn't turn out to be as thick, and you can still see some stamped lines where it was there, so I need to fill it in a little bit better. And then this would be done. Yes, this will be done in time for the Montgomery County Fair, so you can go see it there. And that did get some attention. Next, remember I've added to the list Night Magic, and my friend is also supposed to be working on Night Magic, so I've told her that's what we're putting in the next Woodlawn Fair. And I have gotten further along that since last you saw it. I think I might swap out all of the back stitching with some fluorescent floss to give it some more dimension. Not because I used the wrong colors in the wrong places and, well, you know, personalization. I'm personalizing it. I so am. Another cross-stitch project that has jumped onto my plate, I'm not showing you in case the person I'm giving it to is watching. But I'll tell you about the drama. I'm working on a piece. It has 30 motifs. I've got 5 done already. And it wasn't until I had 1 done that I realized it was small. I realized I ordered 16 count fabric instead of 14 count fabric, which meant I had to go buy more beads because all my beads look great on 14 count fabric, but would not work on 16 count fabric. So I went and bought 2 more things of beads. So I'm working on that project. It's from the Stitchmology, which is a really cool Facebook group. She does 4 stitch-alongs a year. And this was a stitch-along she did 3 years ago. This is the first time I'm restitching something I stitched before. Because last time, it didn't pop. It didn't pop right. So this time I specifically got blue fabric, so all the white and silver will pop on it better. Whereas last time I did blue floss on oatmeal, but sometimes I still tried to use some white floss, and I just didn't like how it didn't pop, so I wanted to do it differently this time with more silver and white and the beads and the everything. And so, point is, check out Stitchmology. Always have lots of nice stitch-alongs, and currently they're it's for the English Ivy stitch-along, English Garden stitch-along, which the needle minder alone is tempting, but I'm neck deep in my own stuff, so I'm going to let it go. But no, not sponsored, but I thought I'd give them a shout out because it's a really cool site and I'm stitching from them again. So the other surprise that I've already ruined, if she watches these videos, is the bear for my sister. Now, she knows it's coming because I asked her, you know, what do you want? And she said she wanted pinks and purples. So I've actually sewn the whole front of the bear together. I found these really cool buttons from the buttons my mother gave me to use as the eyes. I think they kind of look like they've got eyelashes here and what have you. So I thought they looked kind of nifty. And then I found some additional black beads. And right now you're thinking, Mary Grace, this is a Flosstube. Well, this has got a ton of floss on it. See, here's the bear. And I think I told you last time I was going to put a bear on each arm, but it turned out that with the hat, it was too tall. And the bow, so I brought it back to be just the face, which I think just looked just fine. And I had put some ribbons here. I didn't like how they looked, so I traded out for these lazy daisies. And I really like how that lazy daisy of the, again, my favorite, variegated floss, well, variegated floss in general, this time purple, white, and pink variegated floss. Lazy daisies look right here for the wrist. And the other side, I got rid of the bear face because as just a face, it was no fun. And added this cute little bear with the beads. See my beads? I have quite the bead collection. And you can see I'm using more of those long beads again. And the short beads he's got, so I made his little ice cream because this is beyond cross stitch. So I flossed him up. And then again, I duplicated the lazy daisies here. I think I'm going to add beads here too. But the important thing is I sewed the bear angel on the front. Because, you know, bears usually have a belly, so that's there. I'm not crazy if this didn't line up the way I wanted it to, but I'm going to put a ribbon across the neck too, and hopefully that'll be okay. I need to sew the cheeks down. I think I'm going to have to baste the legs together to the back legs and see how much room I have to see how much of a bear I can put here. Because this looks like a lot of space, but as I recall, a lot of it gets lost. So I think I only have about that much space as opposed to that much space. And I'm going to cross stitch a foot for it again. So that is my bear. And of course, also beyond cross stitch, but still using floss, and this is Flosstube, is I've done some more work on one panel of my crazy quilt. I put this down for a long time, but I had bought these really cool buttons and I had these beads, and now I'm like, I wanted to do a subtle star pattern, but I don't know if I should take that out and lean more into this You can see we're right on the material. I added sequins and beads, and I think that looks so cool. I'm really pleased with how the beads at the bottom of the Lazy Daisies look, although I think this particular Lazy Daisy has to go because of the octagonal shape that I'm going to use. And that's why there's all this free space here, because later I'm going to actually quilt it together and run some stitching through there. So I left some space in the center for me to do some stitching. But I added these two cute little beads there. So I hopefully I've gotten all the way around to where it is just cool and not just crazy for my beyond cross-stitch use of floss. And again, the variegated, this is the purple and blue variegated floss that, no, I'm not trying to signal anybody. I just do think it's cool, which is quite outside of my comfort zone of colors. So that is my cross-stitch list, and beyond my cross-stitch and my Floss Beyond projects. Thank you to the 63 of you who have subscribed. I really appreciate it. I hope you personalize all your work, and you too go beyond cross-stitch.